Good morning, everyone. Happy weekend. We are closing out our second week here in Mexico City, and David and I thought that we would just check in and talk to you a little bit about something that was difficult for us to figure out, which is how to change our cell phones and the best way to get a decent cell phone plan with everything that we need here in Mexico. I'm actually going to turn the camera around, and this is going to be a Q&A with David since he did all the legwork on this for us. And hopefully this can help anyone else coming to Mexico in the future to figure out what works best for you. So here we go. We're turning it around on David. All right, David, say hi to the camera.
Hi, camera.
All right, so first let's start with what was our cell phone plan in the US?
So our cell phone in the plan in the U.S. was a typical sort of Verizon plan. We lived in Washington D.C. and had we had 4 gigs of data, so not unlimited, but still a pretty typical plan. Cost us probably a little around $100 a month. So great provider, but still pretty expensive.
And then what have we now switched to here in Mexico?
So we've actually switched to a combination of 2 things. So we've actually kept our US number and ported it over to Google Voice. So Google Voice allowed us to keep that number, and then we can get all of our calls on our US numbers through the Google Voice app. That's great, except when we're not in Wi-Fi and we don't want to use up data for answering a Google Voice call. So we've actually gone ahead and picked up an AT&T plan here in Mexico that gives us international calling to the US and Canada, I suppose, for free, as well as throughout Mexico. We get a Mexico number, and it's called the Con Todo Damos Más. With everything you get more, we give you more. And what we did was essentially we paid for a year's worth ahead of time, and we got an extra year. So we are now completely paid for our cell phone plans for the next 2 years. With that, we get 4 gigs of data, 2 gigs each, that unlimited international calling, and we also have a Mexican number so that we can call friends, call family, and we also get data services anytime we're out and about.
And how much did it cost us to transition our US numbers to Google Voice?
So that costs there's a one-time $20 fee, but you also have to make sure, if you're going to do this, that you aren't still under contract with your existing provider. So for example, we had, Elizabeth had paid off her phone. I had not paid off my iPhone yet, so I had to pay off the rest of my phone before I could transfer my phone over. But once I did, it was only $20 to transfer over to Google Voice for each one of us.
And with the 1-year contract plus 1 year free with AT&T, what are we spending about a month on our AT&T plan?
Yeah, so we paid ahead, so obviously we've already paid that much, but if you split it out over 24 months, it's actually about $15 a month each, which was, absolutely incredible, going from about $100 for the 2 of us all the way down to $15 each, or $30 a month essentially. Again, with the same amount of data, but free international calling, great Wi-Fi, or great cell service here in the city, and again, we get to keep our US phones because we've got the sort of dual Google Voice and AT&T plan here in Mexico.
And last thing, the other thing with this AT&T plan, can you talk about some of the other things that we sort of get for free or all included, like Facebook and WhatsApp?
Yeah, so one of the things that we've noticed in sort of this area or this region is that a lot of cell phone providers give you free access to things like Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, some of the higher plans, which we didn't qualify for, but give you free Uber and whatnot, which means that access to those apps does not count against your data, which is sort of an interesting concept that is not really prevalent, at least anywhere I knew of in the US.
So great. We will be linking at the bottom of this video to a couple of things that could be useful, like the AT&T International plan, Google Voice. What else would be helpful for people?
Google Voice, and just sort of how to go through that process. It is quite, it can be a challenging process, especially once you're already here. One of the things that we actually had to do was to get on a VPN to route our network traffic back through to the US, so Google thought we were still in the US, in order to make that change over from our provider. So a lot of sort of in the weeds details that we'll make sure to link to and get you all the information you need should you sort of find yourself in a similar situation.
Great, thanks. Hopefully this shows my face.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be updating on everything awesome we're doing this weekend, including another grocery trip, a trip to Chapultepec Castle. What else are we doing this weekend? Oh, the Museo de Arte Popular, which has a cool exhibit on piñatas, which should be beautiful. So I'll put all that in a post in the next couple days so you guys can just see what a typical day looks like for us here. See you later. Bye.